Welcome back to Law and Crime, everybody. I'm Jesse Weber, and thanks for joining us. We are live right now in two different courtrooms. A lot to cover today, so let's get started right now. Okay, so Kelly, this is a bizarre case from a lot of different realms. And again, I'm joined here by trial attorney Kelly Hyman. So what do you make of this? What is he trying to show here for this jury? I mean, these questions were asked of him. He wants to have an opportunity to say something, but what is he trying to say?
Case has had so many twists and turns for him actually, getting on the stand and testifying that he killed the woman. In regard to these questions, I mean, just trying to blame someone else, that basically it wasn't his, fault, and the way that he's been treated like an animal. So he's a product of that. But, my heart goes out to his attorneys. I mean, they don't want him to testify, and he will not listen to them. And ultimately, it's his decision on whether to take the stand. And it was interesting that the judge was saying, he didn't find ineffective assistance of counsel, because if this is ultimately appealed, that could be one of the arguments made on the appeal, that he lost his case because of ineffective assistance of counsel. But he won't even take his counsel's advice, not even to testify.
Yeah, there's a difference between not liking your attorneys and maybe not agreeing with them, but them not just failing to do their jobs. They seem to be doing everything that they can do here. And, the state's witness, I think it was the state's witness from yesterday, an expert said, look, he has a victim mentality, that it's all, everyone else is to blame, and that he deserves some special treatment. I want to play you Scott Nelson on the stand. Again, this is some of the most incredible testimony I've ever seen. So we see him testify in the trial phase, then he gets up back on the penalty phase to talk about these issues that he felt he was not given a good deal and what life is like for him in prison. Okay, Kelly, he wants to be put to death, says the criminal justice system has made him a homicidal maniac. Is he asking the jury, please have sympathy for me, because if you send me back to prison, my life is going to be horrible? And why should they have sympathy for a man who brutally murdered an innocent woman?
Jesse, that's a very good point. I mean, they convicted him because he took the stand and said, I did it, and now he's telling them, kill me. And the jury might, say, okay, if that's what you want, then that's what we're going to end up giving you.
Well, you think? I mean, you think they're going to give him what he wants? Because if prison's so bad and they want to give him the right punishment, why not just send him right back to prison for the rest of his life?
That's an interesting argument, Jesse, because that's not actually giving him what he wants, by doing that. But, you don't know what the jury's going to do. And he's, asking for it. He's saying, you know what, kill me. I'm this animal, and they might, ultimately say, you know what, you're right, you don't deserve to live.
Well, do jurors take into consideration what a defendant wants? I mean, yes, a lot of times in the penalty, every penalty phase, they're putting on an argument to say spare his life, or, that's what it is. But in this case, where you have a defendant who gets on the stand and says, please execute me, is a jury going to take that into consideration, what he wants? Because let's be clear about something. When he took the stand in the trial phase, I'm going to make the argument that him saying that he didn't intend to kill Jennifer Fulford gave the jury pause. They actually deliberated longer than I thought that they were going to. And it seems that they were deliberating the question of intent and premeditation. And maybe they were deliberating that question based upon what he said in his testimony. So are they going to think and take a step back based upon what he said?
Jesse, that's a really interesting argument. It's kind of like reverse psychology. Just because he says, kill me, and they're like, nope, all right, we're going to give you life in prison. So, maybe ultimately that, that will turn out that way. Or they might say, you know what, you did such a horrible thing. You took the stand. You said you killed this woman. Your punishment should, in fact, be death.
Yeah, Kelly, I'm giving multiple scenarios, all different ways of looking at it. I'm confused. I'm confused by what I just said, but I'm still going with this. Let's just power through this for a second. So we're waiting to see. The closing arguments are currently underway, but Kelly, what is his defense going to say? Because isn't it awkward? Isn't it weird? You have his defense counsel who's saying, spare his life, don't sentence him to death, but our client wants to be put to death. Isn't that a weird argument?
Yeah, but it also goes to the fact about mental illness as well. That psychologically, that there is something wrong. You know, his brother, you know, testified and basically said that his mom had mental health issues and he had a really difficult childhood with abuse. And so, you know, maybe that will, you know, play in. But ultimately, even though the client, you know, says, I want to, you know, testify, the attorney can't say, no, you can't do it. It's their constitutional right. And he's exercising that right by testifying.
What a job it is for these attorneys. But we're coming to the conclusion of this case, Kelly. I mean, closing arguments are underway. Everybody can go to lawandcrime.com to watch them. We're waiting to jump live in the Roy Coons trial. A lot happening here on the network. It's time to take a break. When we come back, hopefully we'll be live.